Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you wherever you are in the world. I am Tigress Osborne. I'm the chair of the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, and I am joined today by the absolutely fantastic cast of Live Big Girl. We are going to introduce you to Vanessa and Karina and Rebeca in just a moment, but before we do that, just a couple of announcements. First of all, we want to let you know that today's special event involves two pieces. The first part will be some little bit of interview and mostly some fantastic spoken word presented by the cast of Live Big Girl. And then the second part, they are going to lead us through some writing exercises so that you can do some self-expression of your own. If you are planning to participate to stay for the writing exercises, please know that the first exercise will be recorded. So if you decide to share out during that portion of the workshop, your voice or your video, if you turn it on, will be part of this video that folks are watching on YouTube. For the second exercise, we will actually end the recording there so that people who want to share in the more intimate setting of just the folks that they are here with live will not be part of that YouTube recording. So if you are one of the people watching this on YouTube later, I'm not going to be coming back on to make the announcements that I usually make at the end, so I'm going to say a few of those things now. We are happy to have tremendous support from community as we make our way through Fat Liberation Month this May, and we are able to offer these kinds of activities and all of the events that we had during Fat Liberation Month, that we still have to come during Fat Liberation Month, and that we will plan throughout the year through the generous support of our members and other allies and contributors. If that is something that you support, more fat positive programming, more fat politics, more fat justice, and more fat fun, please do visit NAAFA.org and click on the contribute button and contribute whatever you are able to. And we also want to thank our friends at Pro Bono ASL, who have worked with us in order for us to be able to provide ASL interpreting for all of our events during Fat Liberation Month. And our intention is to keep on working with them in perpetuity. So your support also allows us to make these kinds of access services more available so that everyone in Fat community and who supports Fat community is able to join us. Our captions today are enabled by Otter AI and will be cleaned up by volunteers from NAAFA and the NAAFA board for the recording. So thank you to those folks for their labor. We have a few more events coming up for Fat Liberation Month. You can find out all about them at NAAFA.org. Just click on Fat Liberation Month and go to the calendar. We want to get into our special word event, so I'm not going to tell you too many details, but we do have Fat Justice coming up. We have some good discussion about queer visibility and fat visibility coming up. We have a really fun trivia event, and then we end the month with a virtual mixer. So go to our website and find out about all of those things. Without any further ado, I want to introduce you to our special guests today. I'm going to introduce them one at a time. The three poets who are with us today are all members of the cast. They're all co-writers and actresses in the show Live Big Girl, which debuted at the National Black Theater in New York 3 years ago, Vanessa?
About right?
About 3 years ago.
4 years ago.
Wow.
2017.
So it blew audiences away, and then they have continued to blow audiences away as individual poetesses, and I'm going to tell you about them now. First up, Vanessa Chica, who is a New York City educator, writer, poet, playwright, fat activist, poetry editor for The Ice Colony, and founder of The Word Box. And then we're also going to be joined today by Karina G. Lopez, who is also a New York City poet. Everybody's from the Big Apple. Writer, educator, author of Jutina Journals, and co-author of Live Big Girl. Her poetry has appeared in For Women Who Roar, Writing for Peace, and other media. And then Rebeca Lois Lucret,
yes,
who is a Puerto Rican Cuban poet, writer, and playwright. Her work explores her Afro-Latino roots, culture, and ever-evolving identity. And she too has been featured at various New York City venues. Ladies and gentlemen and friends of all gens, please welcome the cast of Live Big Girl to the NAAFA webinar. Yay! It's kind of a NAAFA webinar. It's kind of not. It's a special event today. Y'all are going to do some spoken word for us. Before I turn things over to the cast and let y'all just take the mic and I just become a participant in all this fabulousness, I do want to have you talk just a little bit to our audience about what Live Big Girl was and how it came to be.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My memory is shot. I don't know how it happened, but we got together and we just started writing, and somehow, I don't even know who said it. Said, let's make this into a play, right? We need to get the word out. So we started writing and collaborating together. And then another dear poet friend of ours, Peggy Robles Alvarado, was the director for the play.
And so, but how did y'all meet? Just through the writing life of New York City, or?
Poetry communities, yeah. I think in Full Circle Ensemble is where we met, I believe.
Before that, way before that.
Oh, okay, my memory's shot too. Taking away my age.
Before that, for me, I remember that Karina sent me a direct message saying, "Hey, you wanna join us writing this thing about our bodies?" And I was just like, I don't do that. I don't do that. So that's how it started. And we all just got together and we just started writing. We didn't know what it was going to come to. We didn't know anything. We were just writing. I can tell you, I believe that I was the one that struggled the most with writing about our bodies, but that was my take on our beginning, our wonderful beginning.
Rebecca, do you mind saying why it was hard to you to start writing about that topic?
I grew up in a background, an environment where, fat was just not, it wasn't a good thing. And in my home, Latino home, it was, every time I would come, you're getting fat, or you shouldn't be eating this, or, it was, even to this day, right now, there are still like little things that happen when I go home, and they're, oh, poor thing, she's still single. It's probably because she's, big or something, comments like that. But yeah, like right now I'm wearing a t-shirt and it says, with curves these curves. Before I wouldn't have done that, call attention to my body, right? So this play was so pivotal for me. So yeah, that's...
And what about the other two, Karina and Vanessa? Were you writing about body stuff? You were writing. I think all of you have been writing for most of your lives, right? But were you writing about body stuff?
Not like
we were talking about it. Yeah, we were just sharing stories like, oh, I went to the doctor, my eyebrow hurt. He says it's because you're fat. And then, that became a joke, and that became, the conversation. And then Rebecca came in and we made it into a play, and then we made it into a book. But it just started off with conversations like, did they, there's a gym membership downtown and they're harassing me. Is that happening to you? She's like, yeah. And it started as conversations, sharing stories.
Yeah.
About people not celebrating us. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've written about my body, but in private, right? In little journals and stuff. Not like this, not this level of vulnerability and sharing it for the world. So like Rebecca said, the play has definitely been pivotal for us. It's changed the way we see things, the way we navigate in this world, for sure.
And have you heard the same thing from audiences? Because I've been watching clips from the play and little media videos about y'all, and it seems like that's the effect it had on audiences as well.
Yeah. We've had that too, which is awesome, right? That's what we want, right? So yeah, we have.
It's like Vanessa says in an interview with Bronxnet, she says, their stories are our stories. So we're going through this journey together. And I think that's what makes it a beautiful experience, because we're all going through this together. Because we're not accustomed to, wearing long no sleeve shirts or speaking about these things. And so now we have a community where we can do that. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, Lizzo's doing it now, which is cool, but we need more representation. And that's why we're glad we're here today.
Yeah, and we're so glad to have you all here today. I know that your poetry is really autobiographical, so I don't need to ask you a lot of autobiographical questions before we get started. So just a couple more things. I realized that I didn't introduce our interpreters by name, and our interpreters today are Selena and Lex, once again from Pro Bono ASL. And you can find out more about Pro Bono ASL on their website, which is probonoasl.com, nice and easy. I also want to give you the websites of our three poets because I shared very truncated versions of their biographies, and I want you to be able to check them out more directly yourselves. So you can find Vanessa at www.vanessachica.com, VANESSACHICA.com. And you can find Karina at kglopez.com, KGLOPEZ.com. And then you can find Rebeca at rllucretwriter.com. So that's RLLUCRET and the word writer, WRITER.com. So that's where you can find the cast of Live Big Girl individually, so you can follow their work and see more about what they're up to today. And then once again, I'm going to pass the mic to Vanessa, so I'm just going to remind you, you can find NAAFA at NAAFA.org. You can see all the things that we do. If you're new to NAAFA, we are a 52-year-old fat rights organization that's been working towards equality at every size through education, advocacy, and support for over 5 decades. Please find out more about what we do, the ways that we are committed to becoming an even more intersectional organization, and the many events and activities that we have coming up. So I'm gonna turn it over to y'all. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And Vanessa and team are gonna take it from here.
Thank you.
This is where I start?
Yes.
Yay. This first poem is called Anchovy. It's dedicated to my father. When I was 12 years old, I wore a size 4. It was then that I knew that the nickname my father gave me finally made sense. Anchovy. At first, I didn't get it. Until one day I asked him, Papi, ¿por qué anchovy? And he replied, porque eres ancha y chubby, anchovy. As upsetting as it was, I must admit, it was pretty clever. When I was at my abuela's house, I would think about what my dad would make for dinner. My dad would bring home ice creams and popsicles and ices. And within the hour, the scent of rice, steak, and squash we called pipián was all on the stove. I remember my mother say, no le sirves tanto, Heriberta, que se va a poner gordas. My sister and I tuned my mother out as we enjoyed our favorite meal. I would then rub my belly. Cómetelo. Mejor que te haga daño y que no se pierda. My father will always say that joking around, and I did make sure my plate was clean.
Mommy didn't use words. She used her face. She used dropped jaws and long stares. She looked less at curves and more at straight lines and one-digit dresses that never fit, that never would. Mommy laughed a lot, but not the kind you joined in on. It was a wicked kind of thing, villainous, the kind to keep one down. Sheep-pended animal, sheep-pended ballena. Mommy spent years using her face, and I, in turn, believing, afraid to metamorph, afraid to spread, afraid of challenging, of questioning that maybe I'm beautiful. Maybe I'm healthy and this is sexy and kind of dope. And maybe all this swollen is what's supposed to happen. Maybe she's the one afraid that I should know the truth, gain edge, be happy, be me, maybe.
Doña Percia's plastic-wrapped couch invites me to rest from a long day of playing tag. It lets out an annoyed gust of plastic-scented air, huffs, "You are too big," holds me hostage, asks for ransom in calorie deficits, says, "Why can't you be skinny like your cousin?" There are people outside the window chanting, "She's too big, she's too big." Doña Berta shakes her head and gives me a carnival sideshow look, serves me a heaping plate of shame, tells me to finish it. My stomach swells and thinks, this must be love. The layer of sweat forming underneath my thighs takes pity, offers me a getaway car. Just before I escape, the couch laughs, yells, "Fatso," slaps the back of my thighs hard.
The mannequin. Warning, there are boundaries. Red lights flashing, red flags waving. You have exited the plus size section in this boutique. Please make a U-turn when safe. Return. Caution, do not enter. These aisles are more narrow. These clothes are more appealing, flattering, sexy. Clothes not cut from curtains with shape and form. Lace, leather, lycra. Not made to hide, not made to mask, not made to expand. These clothes do not come in your size. These clothes are not made for you. These clothes will hurt your feelings. Step back. You have been warned. Please proceed to highlighted route. The plus size section is all the way to the back, up the stairs, to the right, and then make a left. Ma'am, are you sure you want to use that elevator?
It's a covert operation when different dictates bad behavior. When I shower at the gym and there isn't towel enough to wrap all my woman. When I search the rack for leopard prints and only come to black and binge. When I take a seat, spill part rump, part thigh, part mother's gift. When I pay $12 more for the same article of clothing. When the stick figure mannequin wears my 2X cinched in the back and they call it advertising. When I go in for a toothache, it's because I'm fat. When I go in for an ankle sprain, it's because I'm fat. When I go in for a runny nose, it's because I'm fat. When the toe gets struck by bed rail, it's because I'm fat. When I break out in a rash, when my hair inexplicably starts to fall out, when the coughing won't quit, it's because I'm fat. When the voice bids farewell, I get the same diagnosis, I get a shrug, I get a "it's because you're fat," this dismissing, dismantling allowance of ridicule, day in, day out, and I'm exhausted. But this too is because I'm fat, right?
The doctor asks me, have I tried to lose weight? As he adds morbidly obese to my chart. I sit there, wearing the paper gown of embarrassment that covers a quarter of my body. Have I tried to lose weight? I drank a popular pill. It made my heart beat really fast, and I thought, I'd rather be fat than dead. Have you tried it? I ate out of expensive envelopes, meals made with water, where I lost 10 pounds and gained 30. Do you know what I'm talking about? I supplemented meals for shakes that tasted like plastic strawberries, you know, like the ones in the commercials. I've tried the cabbage soup diet, the corn muffin diet, the red pepper flakes drink diet. I've tried eating one large meal a day, eating small meals throughout the day, every 2 hours, calculating the right amount of protein, grains, and fats. I've counted calories and points, adding and deducting to lower the sum of me. I've even watched the calories slowly go down the toilet. Have you tried it? Sometimes I hold out as long as I can and not eat at all. So when the doctor asks me, have I tried to lose weight? I quietly and ever so politely respond, yes, I have.
Poem beginning with items found in your neighborhood hair salon. A 1950 retro linoleum, a row of execution chairs, or narrow styling chairs, or hairdresser chairs, or barber chairs, call them what you will. A wall of full-length mirrors for your head. A faded poster of a 1970s Demi Moore lookalike. A curling at the corners of a handwritten list of prices and services. Services include erasure, improving, shame, hiding, burning, pain. Upon the counters, a tub of keratin, a tub of shampoo, a tub of leave-in conditioner, a tub of Slim Fast, a tub of Herbalife, one dog-eared Avon catalog, and one pink grapefruit for the burning of fat. Also, there's a free consultation from your head stylist sporting the latest waist cincher, a chest of straight synthetic hair, a mountain of no-lie relaxers, but aloe gel to soothe the scalp anyway, a flat iron for the kinks, a wavy iron for the coil, a rainbow of hair rollers for the stretch, and a blow dryer just to be sure. 100 black bobby pins to hold you together. And if that doesn't work, way in the back past the bathroom door, there's the private room for the removal of all self.
This body raises eyebrows or smiles, causes whistles or the sucking of teeth. But I'm a flattering fatty with this fat girl flow. Don't you know? This ain't a pro fat girl show. It's about loving yourself as a whole. I am definitely and not defiantly infinite. Don't autocorrect me. These hips don't lie. I am more than a size. I am more than size. Did you not know this, or did you not notice? This body also wears a size 6, but with a 1 in front of it. I get standing ovations like monthly ovulation, circular clockwise circumnavigation. From the root of my origins to the largest organ. This sacred skin says, hello, live big girl. From double chins to extended calves and shins, sanctified halos. Take off your shoes. You are in the presence of this body, and this body is mine.
I am more than the awakening of cruelty in middle school children, a too big to ride at the carnival, a look at her eat, a missed high school graduation. I am more than a pretty face, heavy limbs, double chin, big belly, more than a series of failed shopping trips, list of what to eat, what not to eat, and when to eat it, a doctor's example of caution, a lover's secret, the things you start to believe when you hear them enough. These things, they stick. Even after you grow up or wash, there's something left behind, a permanent kind of thing, a whole life's work. When my weary body asks for a soak and there's not a tub that could hold me, I make do. Gather water at my feet, up towards my ankles, the round of my belly, across this long stretch of back, a delicate dance with gravity, a whole body of a universe, each scoop an act of redemption, and asking for forgiveness. My body does not notice, it does not fault, it finds its pure insult.
The man and me. At night, he returns, chill still in his bones, his body, he binds his body to mine and thaws against the thickness. Life like bricks carried on his back. He chooses to nestle and unpack in the well-padded fullness of me. Curves delicious enough, shapes, spices enough. He finds himself never bored tasting the geometry of me. Relationship status, never complicated, always engaged and married to the circumference of me. Foraging in folds and flesh, a hunter-gatherer chooses survival in the abundance of me. He walks the massive mounds, touches the round earth, plants a flag and calls me home. Big hips swing loud, big moves, big moans. He rejoices in the sounds and symphony of me. Plethora of parts, the bigger and better, and they choose me, both Titan and half pint, over and over and over again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the reading portion. We're going to proceed to the writing workshop. I just want to say, let's from Pro Bono, you're like awesome. Love it. I love all the feeling and emotion. Beautiful to look at. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to present. All right, so welcome to the Live Big Girl reading and writing workshop. This workshop is intended to be mostly self-reflection, a journaling of our feelings, and basically a conversation. So please do not feel pressure to produce. Just write down what you feel.
Okay. So if what you're feeling is a word, then the word is what you're writing. If what you feel is a list, if you're a person who makes a list, you make a list. 1 sentence, 6 sentences, it doesn't matter, right? This is just a space for us. So based on your experiences, what do you think others see when they're looking at this image? Free write whatever comes to mind.
One more thing, I would like to let you guys know that you're being timed. So we will let you know when we're going to move on to the next slide. So for the moment, just write. Okay, write down your final thoughts. This artwork is by artist Catherine Hack. Please follow her on IG. She's amazing. She has an Etsy store. I bought one of her pieces and it's happily displayed on my wall. Okay. For this next prompt, write about a time someone or something made you look at your body in a negative way. Perhaps a family member, a doctor, someone at school, a television show, a magazine article. Write about your experiences. Use your senses to describe what you felt. I saw, I smelled, I touched, I heard, I tasted. Please write down your final thoughts. All right. We're going to continue writing towards the past prompt, but this time we're going to use lines from our poems. So what I suggest is write the first line down, then we're going to do 2 minutes, and then I'm going to say the next prompt, and then the following prompts. So you'll continuously be writing. Right, so please write, "It was a wicked kind of thing, villainous, the kind to keep one down." And write. Next prompt gives me a carnival sideshow look. Next prompt. These clothes are not made for you. These clothes will hurt your feelings. Please write your final thoughts. Okay, so we are at the point where we have share outs. If anyone would like to share, please remember that at this point in time, the share outs are being recorded. So if you would not like to be recorded, wait until the end. If anyone would like to share, just unmute. You can talk about how you're feeling or something that you wrote, just a line. Okay, if no one would like to share, we're just going to continue.
I'll share.
Oh, thank you.
Did I turn my video on? I'm not sure what I should do.
If you would like to, yes.
Hi.
I agree.
For doing this. This is so great. I'll speak my feelings before I read one of the things I wrote. It's been really interesting to touch back to some of the body negative experiences. Actually, I feel like I haven't really gotten in touch with that in a long time, and I'm actually just feeling like this like sensitive little vulnerable feeling that actually feels kind of nice, like in a weird way. So I just appreciate y'all holding space for that. I'll read what I wrote that was this is what came to me for the prompt. Gives me a carnival sideshow look. I didn't exactly like use that as a sentence, but this is the memory that came up for me. My bubby kind of hated me until she was about to die. I had finally, quote unquote, lost a bunch of weight when I visited her on her very literal deathbed. She gazed at me with her half-conscious sight. You're so beautiful. I wish I could remember this as a soft spiritual moment of my bubby finally seeing me at the end of her life, but I can't help but wonder if she only saw the half-size me instead. Thank you.
Wow, Bree, thank you for sharing. That was super vulnerable, and wow, thank you. I'm sorry, was someone else sharing?
Is it okay if Cindy, is it okay for me to share?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just say these kind of got progressively started in a place of pain, and then they ended up in somewhat of a place of power. So if I can just read the last one because it's short. These clothes were not made for you. These clothes will hurt your feelings, but I will wear them anyway, for I love shocking people and showing off all of me and my unique beauty.
Yes, thank you.
I meant to put my camera on, so hi.
Hi, Cindy. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Hi. I'd like to share if my dog will shut up. Uncle Irvin said you need to learn to push yourself away from the table. He meant I was fat. I was 12 years old. My mama's tomato sauce heaping over spaghetti was like love. Like love it smelled, love it tasted. It hugged me from the inside. Now my uncle tells me to be loved, I need to stop eating. I need to push myself away from the table that was full of my mama's love. I must turn to hating my fat body, the one I dance with, the one I play baseball with, the one my mother hugs and kisses goodnight. Thank you.
Wow, Carol, thank you. Yeah, it's that thin line, right? About food is love. I don't care what anyone says. Food is amazing. Anyone else chip in. But yeah.
That first line was amazing. That first line is a prompt. Yeah, I love that. So if I take it, I hope you're okay with it. I'll let you know.
Feel free to use it.
All right.
That would be great.
I would love to share. Are we still sharing, or are we moving on?
We'll do one more share and then we'll move on. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So this is from the first prompt, like what I think what people think when they see me. So sturdy stature, sweet smile, except when it is not. Defiance and too much, too angry, then soft and even softer. My belly is mine. It is not unfinished. She loves me because I am me, not in spite of my belly.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide. So,
Vanessa, before you go on, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to, this is Tigress. I just want to thank Ashley from Pro Bono ASL. We had acknowledged Selena, but we end up having Ashley instead. So I just want to thank Ashley. And I want to let everyone know thank you for being here today. We're going to end the recording now, but for those who are here live, we're going to stay and do some more writing together. So thank you, everyone who's been involved in today, and we'll see you next time.